I'll show you how to dream. Take a look around, we'll start it from the ground. Let's build this world together. Let's build this world together. Let's build a world together. Build this world together. Let's build this world together.
The energy you drive into town, the energy that you feel, I'd never felt it before. Money flows differently here than it does in a lot of places. It's a lot easier to get money to do basically whatever you want to do. I mean, there's 2 strip clubs in town right across the street from the Chamber of Commerce. I mean, that's raining cash.
This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Little tiny Williston, North Dakota is sort of maybe this emerging idea of what could happen in this entire country. I mean, we're working in Pennsylvania, Ohio, crazy places now, Montana, Colorado, outside of Denver. Fracking is everywhere right now. But it started sort of in Williston. It's this thing that's gotten so big and so fast, and there's so much money being made by probably a few at the top. Everybody's on the train. I mean, whether it's the guy sleeping in his car that's making $20 an hour and never made that much in his life, all the way to the presidents of these companies that have never seen such profits. Now, is that capitalism or rogue capitalism? It's hard for me to say, but it's certainly the American way. The vision of this place is nirvana.
I was eating oatmeal and ketchup to make it taste like meatloaf for Thanksgiving. I remember that. I just put all my eggs in one basket to come out here. I have nothing. Because I used to live in California, you know, and got laid off. And so I moved from California 2010 to Oregon. And then from Oregon, I moved here. I used $1,000 to get to North Dakota. And I was living in a little blue Suzuki Swift 2000, which is very uncomfortable. It's like a Geo Metro car, very small. And I lived for a couple nights behind Kmart. I came here to make money. There's just so many opportunities around here. Help wanted signs everywhere. I've got like a plan, build up the credit, maintain a job. I started driving a truck. It's like a UPS on steroids. I was thrown into the oil field, and it was a completely different ball game, I think, especially for a woman. There's just not too many girls here.
Can I show you a little secret? This is the Bakken. Ground zero for the next century of America. It's the fountain of youth. It's the spirit of Renaissance. It's a game changer, a paradigm shift. It's the new world order. and X marks the spot. That's our crude oil,
Oh,
right off the well.
that's how it comes out.
Yeah.
I got oil here. Same
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
That is cool.
So anyway,
I've
Now-
been a little behind my earrings.
Yeah. We need to talk to you about that.
whatever I tell you, probably 30 days from now, it'll be bigger than I thought it was going to be. Okay? I mean, I get investors. This week I have 8 or 10 different groups that are coming through.
When
But-
you say groups, what do you mean by groups?
New York, a lot of New York money through here, Chicago, pretty much you name any address in the country.
So it's private money then?
Yeah, private, there's,
Are you
well,
pension funds or two? Or?
yeah, we're getting all that stuff. And the reason that our fund managers that we have buy into oil, because oil's a money-making proposition. It's a free market economy out here. There isn't any government. The companies that are coming in are developing this on their own. People fly in every day in jets to meet with me. Probably a pretty good parallel is if you're scaling up for war, there's a lot of logistics, and how do you get all these men and all of this machines and armament deployed?
If they strike oil, it'll be the biggest thing that ever hit this state. It'll be the frontier all over again. New folks rolling in.
And our children, who knows how many? Do we have room for them in our schools? What is this oil? What happens when they find it? A wild scramble, boom, and bust? What happens? I was just wondering, how long is all this going to last?
The whole definition of a boom is the bust that follows. You know, if it wasn't a quick bang, it wouldn't be called a boom. And we know that there will be an end to this. We know that something will cause this to slow down or to stop altogether. It always does. Till this boom came along and the intensity of this boom, no one realized how tied to the landscape they were, how firmly our feet were buried in the soil, till it all changed. Nobody expected that suddenly drilling for an oil well would be easier than drilling for a water well. But technology changed, they figured it out, go 2 miles down, 2 miles sideways, and squeeze all the oil out you can get. So it's just been a huge, huge change for us. Someday this needs to be turned back into farmland. We got to make sure that we saved enough dirt. We're losing almost a square mile of land every day to well locations. I used to be a very strong Republican. I don't know where I'm at anymore. I'm in the conservation party, I guess.
With this rush of, oil exploration and people and trucks and oil rigs and all this stuff, it just overtook everything that was here. North Dakota, to the untrained eye, looks like a bunch of brown grass and dirt, and it doesn't look all that pretty. And yet, to me, it's the most beautiful landscape, and you can't really appreciate it at 70 miles an hour. I was the news editor at the Journal from 1999 until I bought the papers in 2013. So I guess I have been the one writing the history.
I was here when they've discovered oil in North Dakota. The rest of the world mostly sneers at North Dakota. We were essentially a slowly dying community from the homestead days through my whole lifetime. All of a sudden we're growing again, but we have a lot of growing pains. Those that own their minerals have been compensated well. But since the first boom in the 50s, practically all the land that was purchased without any minerals. If there's anything you can say about the oil business from a study of it, nobody has a clue what's going to happen tomorrow.
I have to, every once in a while, stand back and look from the viewpoint of the future person to say, are we doing the right stories? Are we doing a good enough job of documenting? I mean, there was a while where I felt like, well, sometimes I still do, that our paper is only about oil field impacts. That's all it's about, because that's all that's happening. When you hear about a gold rush, this is as close to that sort of a economy as we could possibly see. I mean, it's almost like going to the moon. We've been trying to attract people here, and to literally have that flip overnight has just been kind of shocking.
So this idea of peak oil, I kind of say, you know, we just kind of keep kicking that can down the road because, you know, we're going to go in next to that first well and we're going to drill additional wells. So 144 wells in one township. So you start piecing them together and you've got like a giant industrial subdivision the size of a state. You know, it's the size of like West Virginia.
What you guys are doing, you're making a factory, aren't you?
Right.
You're making
Yeah,
just a big factory.
Largest industrial park in the United States.
Push the button and it goes.
We have over 400 oil field businesses here. The top 10 service companies in the world are out here, and they're building mega yards and super yards. This is basically Halliburton's campus here.
When you're used to a slow-paced life, to have it jump from 0 to 100 in a short time it's a big shock to most people here. I live here, I've grown up here my whole life. I'm the superintendent for the school. Coal, gas, fracking, it brings jobs and many, many good things. We have growth in areas that were very stagnant. The world has come to us, every continent, every state. Although I love people, I don't like to necessarily be around 5 million of them. We just have a different approach to life than many of the people that have come here. How do you keep your local identity and the cultures and customs and norms that typically will be in a community? and still assimilate the new people into it. And that is the clash. Right now, you're like living life with your DVR fast forward. And that's because this is without question, purely and unequivocally business. When they bring resources to an area, energy pushes hard. They want to see a return. And that's how it is here. It's a hard country. It is. It's hard on people. You're gonna do your job or you're gonna get run off.
Tonight, we have something extraordinary to show you.
There's a modern-day gold rush going on right now.
The United States has a new frontier, the oil fields of North Dakota.
The Bakken Formation.
Williston, at the very eye of this hydrocarbon hurricane.
The population has more than doubled in 2 years.
Billions of dollars in tax revenue, hundreds of thousands of jobs. North Dakota is an economic miracle, with unemployment now under 3%. It's all fracking.
I've hardly heard anyone mention what could be the largest oil discovery in a generation.
We're building 200 homes in one part of town. We're building 100 apartments in another part of town. We're building commercial center. We're looking at another large commercial piece. Well, I tell you what though, I get $1,000 for each one of these trailers parked here. They've got to have 500, so it's 500 grand. I'd love to have the money they're bringing in every month. When I saw this, I said, okay, that was enough of a reason for me to come up here and at least do some investing. It's crazy as this. I think this comes around once a century. It's like Houston was. There, they're building a road. There, they're building a convenience store gas station. Just back there is some more apartments. Just over down the road here is more houses. My next project I'm taking it to has got 200 homes. I mean, this is just within 500 feet. This is what the building looked like before. The prior owners, rumor was it was 40 people, 50 people living in this place with like 3 bathrooms. But this is 3 years ago when there was absolutely no housing and people were camping in the parks here. I mean, you look at it now and we've got a coffee shop, we've got a hair salon, we've got this, have you heard of the Bakken Club?
I just had this idea and I was talking to Joel about it. That these guys that I was meeting around here would be great to have the Oilman's Club, and all the real guys that can afford 50 grand or 25 grand could all get together and smoke the same cigars or drink the same whatever, but then they don't have to worry about all the cons that might be drifting around. And so, before you knew it, Joel was forming this club.
People want to feel like there's someone on the street they can trust. There's no place in town that's like a hub of what's going on. How do I find money? Or where do I put my money? That's what we're trying to do with Bakken Club.
We can take a quick walk through there and see their remodel, and they should be done in a few weeks and be open. So you can see they've got their little Bakken info sheet here. Hey, there's a field trip to the building. Perfect. How cool this bar is.
I think they're sliding doors.
I think they're cool.
I think the idea is, on behalf of the egos of these oil and gas guys, that they like to be clubbing, they like to be in a place where they don't have to deal with all these other people. And that's appealing to a certain group of guys that are pre-qualified to be a member of the club. If you're down there, then I know you paid 50 grand to be here, you've got money. And I got to thinking to myself, that could be the last $50,000 you had, but you're in the club now. And so I thought that would be really terrific to see, okay, now who in this room put that on their credit card? Probably half of them. Because everybody likes to be in that group, because then all these guys can play. Now, if that isn't theater, it doesn't get much better than that. I think it'd be the last thing in the world I'd want to belong to.
There's so much bullshit here, which really isn't surprising because it is a boomtown. There's a lot of opportunity here. So let's just do it. You know, let's build the nest egg again.
I'd read in the Minneapolis Star-Tribune about some local people in Minneapolis that had come out here and truly made a fortune, north of $100 million. And I thought, wow, there must be something going on there, and it's not the water. So I had to check it out for myself. Came up and it was obvious. And I had heard, I mean, everyone I think in the country's heard, oh, Williston or the Bakken.
Residents are electing a new mayor for Williston. The job will come with many difficult challenges. Current City Commissioner Howard Klug will face Williston businessman Marcus Junt.
The locals want to deal with locals. They don't want to be dealing with people that are perceived as carpetbaggers.
I'm Howard Klug, and I'm running for mayor because I care about this town. I care about our town, and I want it to grow. It's never going to be what it used to be, but I want to see it. The vision of Williston is that we're going to have the best little city in the country. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not the guy that spins things. I'm the guy that you all know, you've known, and I really believe that what I tell you is the truth. It's always going to be the truth.
Hello, my name is Marcus Junt, running for mayor. Bakken is huge. Williston's in the center of that. We represent the bright light for the whole world. They're looking at us. They're watching us. They want to see how we handle this. A small town that sits on one of the largest pools of oil in the history of mankind. We should probably have a plan. Can anyone tell me where the industrial zone here starts and ends? I can't. We have a budget deficit, and if oil goes to $30 and stays there for a period of time, this town is broke. And it's the elephant in the room, and no one wants to talk about it. Why have all the oil if we can't improve the quality of life for people? Why have all the oil if it just drives our long-term citizens away? We can make this the Emerald City of the North.
I am in Minneapolis today for the Bakken Summit that is happening at the Golden Valley Country Club. There's a number of Minnesota folks, 200-300 folks here that are finding out about all kinds of opportunities in the Bakken.
One thing that North Dakota needs, Scott, is institutional money.
Institutional money, what does that mean?
Institutional money.
Big bucks?
Yeah, that's OPM, other people's money.
The amount of dollars that are coming into North Dakota, business wants to come out there. And the climate is set now, so they're really willing to do that.
Tom Rolstad is coming live from the Bakken. Tom is with the Williston Economic Development Corporation and has been in an economic development role through booms and long busts throughout his career.
All right. I appreciate you taking the time today to listen to our story and maybe to find an angle for yourself or your business or your clients that could engage themselves somehow in the Bakken oil play. It's a revolution that's going on here. So this is Minneapolis, this is the Bakken. Another shot. You can kind of see how lit up we are out here. Our little birthday cake on the prairie.
said it's cold up here, but you know, we got some gas flares up here warming it up for us.
Well, what I've learned is the greatest asset I take in to Washington, D.C. as a freshman from North Dakota is the fact that I'm from North Dakota. It's the brand everyone's talking about. When I was the tourism director of North Dakota, we had the distinction of being the least visited state in the country. Except that today, North Dakota, I like to say, is the rectangular stage under the nation's spotlight. So I've had this grand opportunity to tell the North Dakota story to people who are listening. That's my job. I get to say, how can we do what we're doing in North Dakota in your state? Or how can we do it on a national scale? One thing about the Bakken, I would say, is it's a giant laboratory.
If you're a federal government and I want to test out a program of some sort, if I was really smart, what I would do is I would go to a state that did not have a lot of population, that was a good test subject to begin with, and you try it on a small scale to begin with.
They brought the 21st century here, and they brought it hard. Hey, buddy, is everything okay here?
How you doing, man?
You just had this happen?
Yeah, just now.
Wow.
Took a wrong turn, was backing up, got to the side, it just gave way and slid down.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. They on their way. Yeah, they on their way.
Right now it's tough for some people. In fact, it's tough on a lot of people. It's been tough on me, I know that.
Folks, it's 8 o'clock. In fact, it's 30 seconds late. We're already starting behind. Call the Williams County Board of Commissioners to order. I've been in the county business since '92. I've been in public service since '88. You don't go into public service for the things. You go in it to fix things. And there's daily decisions that have to be made in order to ensure a society that works. But none of us signed up to try to accommodate an invasion. Good morning, welcome.
Hey, Police Commissioner Chris Parrington. I'm an attorney representing Pilot Logistics. Brandon Keeson's with me as well.
I figured that since you were wearing a tie that you were the attorney.
I would agree with Mr. Jacko. I think that this is a simple case of something slipping through the cracks.
Are you saying that you're reluctant to pay the penalty?
Well, the penalty amount of $29 million, I think, is an improper calculation.
It's designed to get people's attention.
And I will tell you, it got my client's attention. I don't necessarily know if that means it's an accurate amount in our position, though.
We did have a meeting with the developer, and I believe Dan a little bit. I think there's still an issue on assessment.
Does anybody know where the slowest growing county in the United States is? And are there any commission seats available there? We have a huge influx of developers who've gone broke elsewhere and have come here to make a quick fortune. The developers come in and they grind you down. They grind you down, they grind you down, they grind you down, and it's a war of attrition. The amount of greed in this oil boom, it's not even greed anymore, it's avarice. It's the insatiable appetite for wealth. Well, we have, we remember the problem we had with the commercial right here. There was a non-compliance. We have kind of a home occupation going here, and we got BOH up here. The whole point of me getting up was, and then we have Oasis down here and further commercial in here. We're getting the deadly mix of industrial and residential again, is the only point I wanted to make. And that concerns me. I don't know how to lead us out of this one, guys. I'm at a loss. There's been 5 or 6 attempts, one just a month ago, to bring us all into the city. Annex us into the city. What if we don't want to live in the city? We want to run horses in the front yard. We want to shoot pheasants in the backyard. You know, all the things you can't do in a city. Just because a developer wants to cram 300 or 400 houses back there, we have to comply with rules made by people who have nothing in common with us? We struggle with that. It's all symptoms of the same problem. Just too much, too fast. For years it was, there was a few scattered homes up there, but there was nothing. Nothing. And the city now is right over on the fence line. That's the next stuff that's coming in. And of course they'd love to bring this in. One of the plans they showed was having condos right out the back window. What they call compact urban development. How do you define compact urban development? My definition of that was, when you open your window, you can open your neighbor's window at the same time. And it's how many houses can we cram on the least amount of space so that we can take the most amount of money out of here. That's what it's all about.
That was the city limits before. And now it goes off the map. So you can see that the city area has basically doubled in a matter of a year and a half. You see a lot of pushback on projects at the county level only because they're not in the development business, but development is desperately needed in this community to sustain the oil play. We're still in the bottom of the first inning of a 15-inning game.
Should go look at some oil wells, huh?
So this is yours.
Yeah. At least a piece of it. So likely they'll come back in here and do a whole pad of more wells next to this one. Wide open prairie out here. Won't be long, it'll be filled in too, huh? I'd much rather be in a community that's facing growth than the one that's facing decline. And this country is full of towns that are facing decline. I think of myself like the Oracle in the Matrix, the lady in the kitchen who gives you direction and gives you advice, and yet it's the last person you'd ever think that would have a vision of what is going on. And so I kind of see myself more of that in a kind of a humble manner.
I've heard of a lot of accidents oncoming head-on, so no one's safe around here. I always had a feeling that I'm going to go out in a head-on or something, or I'm going to die on the roads because it's so dangerous. So I'm really nervous about what I do. But a lot of people don't even hire women. Where are the girls? My God. I just need a girlfriend to go get a pedicure with and gossip, and I don't have that, and I'm about to explode.
It's that time of year again, and we're all around the tree. It's our favorite holiday, and we're happy as can be. So we'll hear Santa's sleigh bells coming round the bend. It's a rockin', swingin' Christmas one. It's a rockin', swingin' Christmas once again.
I was one of those dorks that graduated from college when I was 20. I worked at Lehman Brothers when they went bankrupt in Chicago in '08. I look back and, gee, I was on the front lines, the tech explosion in the late 90s, from 94 through 2004. And then after that, I was in finance when the largest bankruptcy in American history, I worked for that firm. So I was kind of on the front lines of all of that debacle. And now here I am in North Dakota on the front lines of an entire industry, an entire region that's growing again. And so, I don't know, evidently that's kind of my niche, is to see where the action's happening and get involved.
We thought that a club would be a great way to create that hub of leadership among the people who really have a long-term vested interest in the well-being of the region, right? Not the looky-loos and the here today, gone tomorrows. We've had people rolling right in the door. A lot of big players. Halliburton bought 4 memberships.
People get in here, they see it, it's like, wow, there's nothing like this in town. We see lots of deals go through here. Those are big deals, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Once you're in, it's kind of like the mafia. Joel is not a good person. He told me when I was all intrigued by it, I said, oh, I'd like a membership. He goes, I can't give you a membership. You're not the caliber of individual that we're looking for our members.
I built 48 Walgreens, 70 restaurants. I built the Four Seasons Hotel. I've negotiated with state, federal, local. I've been to more city council meetings than I care to count. I see how it's done. Plant this seed in your head. The United Arab Emirates has Dubai and Abu Dhabi. They have more people and less oil than North Dakota. North Dakota has fewer people and more oil. We have Walmart. They have the world's tallest building, the biggest shopping malls, freeways, subways, major airports, 12 islands, man-made islands in the Persian Gulf. I mean, we have to stop letting private planes flying in from Houston, Dallas, Oklahoma, and leaving after they've made this an industrial zone. Those states are taking our profits, and Bismarck's taking our taxes, and we're left with one thing. We're an industrial zone for America.
Well, we're not going to let them do it anymore.
Yeah.
We're going to share it anyway.
We can't tax them. I go, where are they going to go?
Nigeria, Russia?
This is where the oil is.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, you know you've taxed them too much is when they stop coming. They don't care about us. All they care about is extracting oil at the lowest cost and making the most amount of money and paying the least amount in tax. Period. That's what they should. They're business people. You're just an outpost for the mineral companies, oil. That's all you've become. That's all this town is becoming. It's become an industrial park for the oil companies.
Marcus has got big ideas, and he thinks a lot bigger than I do. But I still think that I still think big. We've got an industrial town here. We have an industrial park to the east. We have an industrial area to the west, and we have an industrial area to the northeast. Yeah, this is a lot different than it was 10 years ago. There'd be an occasional car driving back and forth. But now, as you can see, there's cars constantly streaming. I don't live any different than I did before. I mean, it's a lot busier. I don't make left turns anymore. I go to stoplights, and I know how to get around town. But I lived in the same house, and I'm building a garage now because I'm going to live there for a long time. And I still go to the same places. Williston needs somebody that's showing them that they can be a leader and they know how to get the job done. And I believe that's where I'm at.
What makes the Bakken so special is that companies have seen when they come up here, they find a cordial partner as opposed to an adversary. Some states you go to meet with a public official, if you're in the energy business or any other business for that matter, they view you with suspicion and they see you as an adversary as opposed to a friend. If you put out a red carpet rather than broken glass, you get a lot more people want to come and see you. When you look at what's going on in the Middle East, you look what's going on in Russia, you see the role that energy and energy resources play in terms of exploiting for power. And I'm not talking about energy power, I'm talking about political power. You see the opportunity for the good guys to use fewer lethal weapons and start using, instead of atomic bombs or missiles, we start using the gas bomb and the oil bomb and the energy bomb, if you will, to further peace as well as security.
The crazier it is in Russia, the faster we get to drill. I think it's all pretty funny myself, but some days you think it's not so funny. It's sort of a snapshot of America that has kind of gone berserk. People are so weirded out about going back to the Cold War and all the stuff going on in Nigeria and all over the place, but finally a place in North Dakota can actually make a difference, theoretically. But that's the story. I mean, it's a fantastic story. But right now, this is pretty much the center of our energy policy. I'm not saying it's a good policy or not, but it's as fast as you can get it out of here, the better. It's just a microcosm of our capitalistic system. It's just that it's all right here in 3 square miles, all these things. You don't get that very many places in this country. You just don't. I mean, you have this oil, gas, wealth, money, but right underneath that is all of this stuff that happens every day. Jail's full, they probably have 10 times the number of calls that they've ever had before. And they just can't handle it. I've heard a lot of that the last couple of months of people that just hate it here. They hate it. It's a horrible environment. So why are you here? I'm here because it's a laboratory.
Maybe one of those guys have a knife. I doubt it. Do any of you guys have a pocket knife? Pocket knife?
You gonna come dance with me over at the bar later?
No. Next question. I don't know who to trust. I'm like, maybe it's just me feeling it. It's like a lonely, lost feeling. It's different. There's no women. I feel a little bit of danger. If you're a migrant worker, you're no one. Those people that are making all the money though, the suits, they don't know what it's like to be on the floor. They don't know the crazy stuff that you see people are doing for survival. The rich people like to stick together. Like they will walk on heads to get on top, to make it somewhere. They're cutthroat out here. Still feel like I'm kind of like on the losing side, but people want to make it, I think, and they only have a certain amount of time. I feel like I have a certain amount of time, and I don't know. But I'm not giving up. I'm gonna see this through. I'm gonna get a good job. I'm gonna make some good money, you know?
Thanks for joining us today. The superintendent of schools in Tioga says he will step down in 9 months after bringing a gun to school last week.
Superintendent Dwayne Johnson brought the firearm to the school building out of a concern for the safety of students and staff.
October 9th, we have the superintendent bringing a gun to school to protect children. What he explained to me was that there was a kid who was making noises like he was going to do something. his idea was that if this kid went berserk, he was going to be there and stop it because he knew the police wouldn't get, that it would be over.
Where was the kid from?
Not here. They were newcomers. I know that they were local. That's all I know. This environment with people who are already desperate coming here on their last dime, and they already have problems, and they maybe already have alcohol issues and drug issues, and then you bring them somewhere where they have no support system, what's going to happen? They're going to have more problems, and their family's going to have more problems. And then we get to help their family with those problems. And our schools get to have, our teachers dealing with their screwed up kids because this is where they landed.
I think at this point in time that to stabilize, that it might be well to see what types of impacts that energy is actually having on the day-to-day part of, our world. The playbook went out the window. Everything that was familiar, and here's the ball, and run this way, got changed, and now it's adapting. But that's what human beings do. We adapt.
Why is it that whenever somebody wants to do something that could potentially harm the environment or potentially harm people in an environment, we never just say, no, we're not going to allow that here? No, instead we try to find a way to allow it to happen, even though we know it's dangerous. Why do they have to hurry in here and do this? It's not going anywhere. And the longer they wait, the better the technology gets, the easier it becomes to get it. So that's where our state went wrong. Our state was like a virgin who didn't realize her true value and gave herself away before marriage. She had something that everybody wanted and were willing to pay, a pretty big price for, and we just gave it away. We just, said, yeah, come on, rape us. We love it.
You're in hell on earth!
When I listen to all the advertisements from the oil companies and the trucking company on public radio, come to the oil patch, come to North Dakota, 100,000 a year, all these things. Nobody said that no matter how much you make, you can't find any place to live. Other than in your vehicle, or in my case, underneath a bush someplace.
We're in a crisis mode right now. When you're the most expensive city in the United States, this is called a crisis. And it's not sustainable. It just simply is not sustainable. In all fairness to the people that are on the commission, the tsunami hit them. but they've never dealt with something like this before. And they don't have a single person on there that's a developer. I've done this my whole life. They don't have a single person that's run a business with thousands of employees. They don't know what they don't know. We had a boom before and we blew it. We've been given a second chance, and right now we're blowing it.
Tell me about the plan to run all that drainage down 42nd Street and those giant pipes.
Well, that's where it's going. You don't want all the industrial stuff in the county, and I don't know how we can't. You know, they permitted, what was it, 45 new homes in May, and then just 2 days ago, whether it's duplexes or whatever, they put in 38 new ones in 1 day. So, they're building.
I don't want to live under lock and key.
I don't know, that's a fight you can't win.
Williston was part of a perfect storm. You know, the economy was bad everywhere. The oil was taking off. It's almost like they waited, or they knew, or something, right? The oil companies have like this crystal ball. North Dakota will be back to reality within 2 years, I say. The oil companies, they want to go with the cycle. When it's ready to pull out, if and when they want to pull out. I'm running on fumes. You know the whole situation on the Bakken Club. My brother called it Casa del Joel's. This is the basement. There's his clothes hanging there. There's his bed, there's the concrete wall in the basement. That's the shit I'm dealing with fucking Williston.
A boomtown is, it's hard to explain it. It's, for a lot of people, it's a refugee camp. All the guys that have lost their ass.
I lost $10 million in 2008.
I want to make my money back. I want to get my family straight. I want to do all that. There's so many deals here all the time. I like the rush. I sleep in the basement most of the time. I live like a friggin' dog. I mean, I live like a dog. I'm just surviving. And that's really it.
This looks like a shithole. It's a FEMA. I hear it's a FEMA trailer. What do you think? Not too bad? No? So many people are hearing that this is like the land of promise. I mean, they're making it like a golden yellow road here. And it's just not a... You think it's going to be different when you get here. And then I couldn't believe it for $600 or $700 for the lot, to live in a lot. You're not making enough to get out of here. I mean, I don't want to use the word stuck, but you kind of get stuck in here. I feel like a hamster in a wheel. I don't even know what I'm dreaming about anymore. It's like it's addictive. So it just kind of feels a little bit like a trap, and I don't know what to do to get out.
Nightlife offers a way to forget, but it's only for a while. So when the parties are all over, I put away my baby smile. I'd like to go someplace and start all over. I know it can't be done. Run away someplace and start all over. But without you I can't run. But without you I can't run.
I can change people's lives. We can change people's lives. If you want to build an industrial zone where there are no families, when the oil's gone, they'll all leave. And you'll have an industrial zone that's gigantic, and it'll be empty. And it doesn't have to be that way. But I think this is the inflection point. This is the key election to change that.
I see the potential of a visionary leader emerging for Williston, which is kind of exciting.
I have friends who are very enamored with him. I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, and then their comments to me are, well, you're not happy with the way the city's doing things now, so why not support this guy? Because they don't trust him.
I wasn't born and raised here, but everybody came to the state at some point. I just came here a little bit later.
I mean, yeah, there's the risk that he could turn out to be all about himself and ego, and yet the words that he's saying certainly don't appear that that's what he's all about.
I've decided to live in this community. I can live anywhere I want. I don't have to live here. I've decided to live here.
If Marcus gets to be the mayor, I think that he's going to spend a lot of his time learning the ropes about how things need to be done.
I would think that Howard, we would continue fairly much as we have with Howard.
If we continue down the path we're on, in my opinion, we're creating the next Detroit.
So I'm kind of excited to see how it turns out.
The results are in. We're there live at tonight's election. A landslide victory for lifelong Williston resident Howard Klug.
We've been talking this hour about North Dakota oil, and now I'm joined by the mayor of the city at the epicenter of that boom, Williston, North Dakota. Mayor Klug, thanks for your time here this morning.
Thank you, Tom.
Is it too fast?
We're smart enough out here that we know the studies are not going to be totally accurate, but with the vision of bigger than what we believe, that's what I'm selling people around here, that it's not going to slow down. This is going to be a play that's going to be 40 years or more in length. The wells are coming. The people are coming. We should be just fine out here in western North Dakota.
Even farmers who will say, you know, those darn legislators or whatever, they still keep voting them back into office. So then that just reinforces the idea that we just do more of what we've already done because everybody's okay with it and we're going to get reelected anyway. It's really hard to believe. I mean, it's really hard for me to believe that the majority of people in Williston are okay with how this has all been managed.
Howard did a better job of campaigning, and he knew exactly what he was doing, and that's where I was the one that was naive. I was the fish out of water. It had nothing to do with what you were going to do. It had to do with, I've been here my whole life. I'm the guy that played Little League with you, and I ran on, let's actually have a zoning plan where these are neighborhoods and these are parks, and let's plant trees and flowers and make this one of the prettiest communities in America because the money's there. So I ran on all those ideas, and it was at the end of the day, I was schooled. It was totally irrelevant. That had nothing to do with how they were going to pick the next mayor. And I was naive, and I got shellacked. It'll be interesting to see what happens, because the rest of the world has hydrocarbons that are locked in these formations. And we started the revolution, but the genie's out of the bottle. And whether the rest of the world accepts these technologies and implements them, we'll have to see.
I mean, look at that rig right there. I mean, these rigs are popping up all over the place here. It's coming to my town. And I don't have to go to Williston no more. That's funny. It's heaven here. Look at this. How beautiful this is. Goodness gracious. Man, I get all giddy. It's just so beautiful. Just the beauty of it, and let alone to know that I own this is quite cool. You know what that is? Those are those red ants, those fire ants. Just as soon as you start making some vibrations on the ground, look at them all start racing towards me. We haven't seen anything yet in the economy in Colorado. I think over the next 5 years, 10 years, this is just gonna go crazy. And I'm glad, because I wouldn't say I'm getting in on the ground floor, but I kind of am again, because I've already been here. So I've watched the trends and I know what's about to happen here. I hope I can put a rig or two on my property here, because I got the mineral rights with this. I think fracking as a whole is the new frontier.
Fracking comes with prolific promises, but there's a catch. The wells slow down quickly, as in a 60 to 70% drop-off within the first year quickly.
If you want to maintain a steady overall rate of production or grow your production, you have to drill and drill and drill.
The economics of the fracking boom are a little suspect. If the oil price were to come down even near $65 a barrel, which isn't that far away, that whole industry could potentially implode on its side.
At what point does the market recognize that this is an illusion? This carbon bubble is going to burst.
About this, fighting it doesn't matter. It's like trying to fight the tide or anything else. It doesn't work. Better figure out how to make do and move amongst it watch out for the riptides. Or get out of the water.
I love living out here as far as, I mean, it was so beautiful. The sad, really sad thing for me is that I could be rich right now and I'm not. I had like 350 acres and my grandparents had mineral rights and I sold them for $7,500. Look at what different perspective I would have and what a hypocrite I would be if I had not a financial care in the world and I'm supposed to cover objectively an oil boom. That would be pretty tough to do. I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and it would be almost impossible to do that if I was having my pockets lined by oil. I mean, I could stand here and scream, you know, wow, what's wrong with the world? You know, Halliburton shouldn't have come. They shouldn't be taking the oil. I don't think that. I mean, I think we need oil. I drive a car. We need to develop this resource. It is a resource. But why aren't the people of the state as a whole benefiting from the resource? Everybody in the country knows this is here and knows this is going on. It's like there's a free pass. If you're a state official in North Dakota, let's face it, you're small potatoes. I mean, either they're corrupt or they're stupid. What I saw in 1988 with places boarded up in Williston, if you take fracking legislation or some world event that suddenly changes the value of oil or whatever, and it shuts off as fast as it did last time, you're gonna see a whole town that looks like that. And we'll still be here. That's what's so, I mean, we'll still be here. Oof. I think, you know, I'm out. I'm moving out. I'm paying off this car. Like $6,000 on this car, but I'm moving out. I'm leaving. And cleaning up my credit and skedaddling. That's what I came here for, is to clean up my credit and then I don't have to worry about it, you know? And go live a normal life.
A singer in a smoky room, a smell of wine and cheap perfume. For a smile they can share the night. It goes on and on and on and on. Working hard to get my fill. Everybody wants a thrill, paying anything to roll the dice just one more time. Some will win, some will lose, some are gonna sing the blues.
I mean, we got some, our business is good. We have some issues to work out.
Can you make rent?
Oh yeah, I mean, I can make rent. I can, well, that's interesting. I mean, we have a ton of money invested here, and it'll all ultimately pay off, or you know, it can always go south, but I don't think so. This is a long-term play. Unless oil goes to, you know, $60 a barrel, which isn't going to happen, we're golden.
We're evicting them. Sheriff served them 2 nights ago to evict them. They haven't paid us rent in 3 months.
Easy for me, kind of being a canary in a coal mine, to have the confidence that this was the real deal and not just a flash in the pan. We were kind of the beta test.
So we're just rats at the laboratory? Is that what we are? People come here with the attitude that we are just ignorant rednecks, and this is some place to be exploited, and we just need to get out of their way while they create something out of this wasteland.
You're going to be using fossil fuels for a long time. The idea of peak oil was wrong. We've figured out how to rub 2 sticks to fight together and create fire.
This is like a tsunami hitting North Dakota with this rush of, you know, oil exploration and people and trucks and oil rigs and all this stuff. It just overtook everything that was here. And the thing is, when it leaves, it's going to do what a tsunami does. It's going to just wash everything out with it too.
This is a point in time that will never be repeated probably any place in this country. And then when it's done, it'll be done forever.
And that's the entire anxiety. All of the apprehension is right there. As we've seen this come, we've seen it go. People have won, people have lost, and at the end of the day, what is left?
We've come full circle again. Large companies controlling everything. Huge difference between the haves and the have-nots. Huge political influences in every decision. And people being run over. But it's okay out here because we're just an experiment.
Hopefully the rest of the country and the rest of the world can see what you can do if you embrace industry and embrace technology and embrace the future. We are the champions, we are the champions. No time for losers, for we are the champions of the world. Go on fighting, my friend. We'll go on fighting beyond the bitter end. No time for losers, no time for losers, for we are the champions of the world.